Hey everybody, it's me, Deanna, your insurance exam teacher. Today I've got an exciting video for us today. This right here is Liz Johnson. She is involved in a program called Genius in 21 Days. And this program teaches you how to learn anything, like literally anything and everything you want in 21 days. Want to learn a new language? She's got you. Want to learn anything and everything about insurance? She's got you. Whatever exam you're trying to pass, whatever you're trying to learn, she can teach us how to learn it and master it in 21 days. And it is amazing. I've been to one of the webinars, guys. I am still like floored. I've been trying to figure out how she memorizes. Like she does a trick. Now, it's not even a trick. I don't even know what to call it. Like honestly, Liz, I don't know what to call it because it was amazing. And it's just like
an example of the perfect memory method.
Yeah, okay, an example of the perfect memory method. Guys, whatever you're trying to memorize, whatever you're trying to learn, she can teach you how it works. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to let her tell us about the program, Genius in 21 Days. So tell us, Liz, a little bit about Genius in 21 Days. How did it come to be?
Yeah, so I went to school for psychology and communication, and so this is part of what I really love about Genius in 21 Days. We have everyone start with a learning analysis as part of the program, and so the learning analysis is actually how the company came to be. So the learning analysis is based off of a psychology test, and over 20 years ago, this test was put out, and they looked at different things like how people would be feeling, how financially successful they would be, how satisfied they would be, what their job would be like, these kind of things, right? Basically, just like looking at like happiness and success factors, including things that relate to being emotional. And so they tested 20 years later, they had these people and they looked at it, and the results were over 90% accurate that what you had 20 years ago were going to be the same things in 20 years, right? And so cool, we love like being right about tests and analysis, whatever, as psychology people, yes. However, what good does that do if you're just left in the same situation, right? And so Genius in 21 Days was like, hey, we got you. We're going to make a method for every single parameter and teach people so they don't have to be stuck at the same level or worse in 20 years from now. So that's kind of very cool background of like the whole purpose was to help change people's lives, and developed off of a psychology questionnaire that has a lot to do with learning, of course.
That's awesome. That's super interesting to me because I'm also like, I was a communications teacher. I got a degree in communication. So very interesting. When I heard about your program, when I saw it, immediately I was like, I want to know what you're talking about. I want to know how to memorize like that. Guys, she can memorize, literally give her something. She'll study it for 30 seconds, 30 seconds. And like 30 minutes later, tell you everything you just told her off the top of your head. I saw it happen. So very, very cool. So tell us though, how did you get involved with Genius in 21 Days?
Yeah, so I was in college, and like I said, I went for psychology and communication. And at the same time, I became top level certified tutor. And so I always took all the psychology tests, all the, strength, whatever, all the things, right? And I really loved helping people. And then I came across Genius in 21 Days because of a networking group that I had created. And I I took the course and used the stuff. I actually had moved to Florida like right after I took the course online, and then had a lot going on, and used the methods for the next year. And by the way, like right before this is when I found out I was diagnosed with ADHD. And so I moved to Florida and was no longer able to get Adderall. And so that was like a lot for me because I had a 24/7 job, like literally 24/7 care attendant for somebody. And so it was a lot for me to manage someone who's 95 plus myself and moving and a lot of things going on, right? And then, of course, not being on medication after you've started medication is a lot. And so I started really like right before I went to Florida is when I took the course. And then so I started using the methods and I used it for about a year. And it just changed everything in my life. And so I was like, you know what? I need to talk to Cosimo and I need to say, hey, how can I be involved in this? Because this is beyond anything I ever learned in any tutoring program, any analysis I've taken. Like, this is so insane and barely even believable, right? So that's why we really tell people, like, come see a section of the course that's called Learning Blocks. And so we allow people to come to a 2-hour segment of the full course to have kind of like an example of what you would learn in the full course. Um, so yeah, that's how I got involved. I kind of had a whole finding out ADHD and then not being able to have medication after I was given medication and being like, you know what? I don't ever want to be in a situation where what if I'm traveling or something again where I'm not able to get a medication for focusing and that really just kind of spurred me to helping especially a lot of people with ADHD or kind of people I come across now too. So
Okay, awesome. So you reached out to Cosmo. I'm assuming he's like the creator of the
yep,
program.
he is the
Okay.
head of the Genius in 21 Days United
And
States. So we do have Genius in 21 Days in other countries as well. There's been over 60,000 students through the program. Um, a lot is done in Italy, and so I'm one of the people here in the United States um, developing it here. So very fun to be working with all the American people.
awesome. So Cosmo said, "Yes, Liz, come on board." So how are you involved now?
Yeah, great question. So, like I was saying, this whole analysis or like psychology questionnaire that it's
Mhm.
revolved around. So, I actually do a review. So, I'm a learning block analyst, would be my specific tutoring niche, so to speak. So, basically, I look at all the different parameters related to learning and look at people's percentages and then give them different methods based on their learning analysis test, different methods that would help them for each of those lower parameters. Um, so that's kind of the first thing. We really want to understand how their brain is working, what areas they need support. And then also part of that is your cognitive style slash your learning style slash your effective communication style, which learning that can be really, really helpful. Some people, schools were not made for everybody's learning style. It was kind of for the masses. And so that's why we see issues like people having to reread or feeling like they don't know where to start when taking notes or they highlight everything on the entire page when it's like, hey, that's like you're basically just copying the whole book. Why did you even highlight anything? Just highlight the whole book, right?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of this not knowing how to handle information the right way, how to categorize it or take notes the right way, or focus. A lot of us have focus issues before this.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like as a former teacher, I know that a lot of kids struggle, a lot of people in general, especially, from kids to adulthood, struggle with learning how to learn essentially, which is what your program teaches, but also I've seen the difference in people when they learn what type of learning style they are, exactly how they learn, and that's pretty much what you're teaching them with that learning analysis. So tell me, why do people tend to take the learning analysis?
Yeah. So usually, people are wanting to get to the next level in their career or in school. So that might look like, for example, people that you and I tend to work with actually they want to get another certification, such as insurance, whatever type of insurance that may be. But anyway, basically, you're trying to get to the next level in your life, which requires learning more details about something, or getting better grades. Of course, that means more details about something. And so a lot of the problems that I tend to see with that is people are doing repetition. Okay, so let's just briefly talk about repetition is not an answer. Okay, if you basically think of it like this: if you watch a movie, and you know what happens and you understand it and you got it, you kind of remember it, right? And so that would be how you would think of like Genius in 21 Days learning. But here's what happens at school: they say repeat. So, what does repeat look like in that same context? Repeat would be like if you left a movie burning into the TV screen and then you just tried to burn every second of that video into your TV screen to memorize it that way. Um, Basically, you would just have like a million layers. And when you go to recall an actual moment, there's so many layers to get through that you can't, it's a lot harder to actually find the scene, so to speak, than it is if you can memorize it as it's coming through the first time. So repetition is like burning into your TV screen, and once you know how to use example Genius in 21 Days methods would be like watching it once and you understand. Also, your brain likes it better the fast way. Your brain knows you can be faster. And that's one, I would say that's actually probably like the number one thing I'm hearing from people is they're like, I feel like I'm slower than I should be for how much effort I'm putting in. And there's a lot of like unhappy emotions that go with that. And whether people recognize that or not, it does take a lot away from confidence too, right? Because it's like, if you feel like, how many times do I have to read this? Can I even get it? How confident are you to actually take the next step of doing what you need to? So there's a lot of implications that happen that we don't really realize, but I can notice from like a learning analysis or talking to people of kind of deeper impacts of some of these things in their life.
That's awesome. Yeah. And tell me more about the learning process, the learning analysis process. How would I go about getting one if I want to do one?
Yeah. So normally this is something that is $2,050, but because it's us doing this, really trying to help our students and whatnot, I'm open to comping it for the people who like watch this video and connect with us via, you know, this.
Yes.
So anyway, what that looks like is we'll get a link. We can put it somewhere here. You click on the link and you fill out the learning analysis. It takes about 20 to 45 minutes, depending on, you know, how fast you read or how fast you respond to the questions. No, it's not fun to take. Okay. Never is answering an analysis a fun thing, but that's why I say do it all at once, get it over with, and you'll be so happy you did it. Have a piece of paper. We're going to ask you to draw a couple things and try memorizing a few things. So be ready for that. And then after you take your analysis, then we should schedule a review. So I would love if you take your analysis and then shoot me a text or an email and say, hey, Liz, I took my analysis. And then we can schedule a day for the review. At the review is that time when I will show you a chart with your scores on it for the different parameters, explain what they mean, show your percents, give you the methods, talk about like why these different things are happening. And we kind of go from there and see what would make sense for the person.
Awesome. Like that's awesome. And guys, if you want to learn, literally learn anything, learn everything, like I said, a language, she'll teach you how to learn it in 21 days. Memorizing. So that was one thing. Like again, it how did you memorize that, Liz? Like you need to share, guys, you need to go to this webinar with her and watch her. We're the presenter. It might be Cosmo, I think. Also, either way, it's so cool. Like they will ask people like tell me something and then they memorize it and then they like
Yeah,
tell
we
you
have
exactly
live.
what it is. So yeah, it's just kind of crazy. So how do you memorize like you? Like what do we need to do? Tell us.
Yeah, so obviously I can't just like share everything at once. It would take a lot longer. But all of it is in the course. And so that is up to 30 hours of the course. You can either come live with instructors and do it on the Zoom with us. And we do it like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And then the following Saturday, we do strategic reading follow up. So it's actually 4 days on the live course. And also, whether you go to live course or not, you still have access to all of the recordings ahead of time too. And for the next year, you have access to using all that stuff. Um, so if you can't come to a live course, you can do like online recordings and go through the exercises. However, we really, really love for you to come to the live course so we can like have the full experience with you. And at the end of the live course, we will give you a mentor for at least 3 mentoring sessions. So in that time, like after the course, we will teach you and like work on the different things that we taught in the course to make sure that we cater very specifically to your learning style. So example, how to take effective notes for your specific brain type. We'll work with you and help you like organize your notes differently in some of those like after course mentoring sessions that are already included in the price of the course. So that's why I'm like, come to the live course and then have your mentors too afterwards. But you do have the online recording as well. So that's kind of what that looks like. And yeah, if you want to learn how to memorize super,
Yes.
super fast anything, whether that's terms, whether that's a language, whether that's your credit card number, no matter what it is, the methods are the same. And so you just got to learn them. And that's what we're here for.
Sounds awesome. Credit card numbers. That sounds interesting. I like that idea for sure. But yeah, no, I hadn't thought about that. I like it. And Liz, thank you for joining me. Thank you for sharing a little bit about Genius in 21 Days. Guys, check out the links down below and sign up for the next course. We are here to help you. We are here to help you grow. Liz is here to help you learn how to learn, literally anything and everything. So feel free to check out her details down below, reach out to her, and subscribe and follow us.